All right, let's just jump right in. We're breaking down Chris Smith's The Conversion Code, which is basically a complete playbook for turning total strangers into paying customers. The best way to think about it is like you're going fishing. You need the right bait, you need a perfect hook set, and of course, you need the right technique to reel your catch all the way into the boat. So, the big idea, the core philosophy here, is to completely flip the script. You stop chasing after leads, and instead, you build this system where the right clients are actually drawn to you. You know, most businesses, they fail right in that messy middle part, at the point of conversion. This whole book, The Conversion Code, is about building a bridge over that gap, connecting the moment you get a lead to the moment you close the sale. And that brings us to the very first step in our little fishing trip, choosing the right beat to attract the best fish. Now, in the business world, that's your marketing. This is all about how you get the right kind of prospects swimming towards your boat in the first place. Look, before you even dream about driving traffic, your website, your landing pages, they have to be absolutely perfect. Did you know you have about 50 milliseconds to make a good first impression? That's it. So a clean, mobile-friendly design isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely critical for building trust. And dedicated landing pages? Oh yeah, they work way better because they have one single job: capture that lead. In a world with what Smith calls the microwave mindset, your stuff has to be fast, clear, and effective. This right here is a brilliant way to think about your social media ads, using what the book calls the C3 formula. So first, you've got content marketing at the top of the funnel, just building awareness. Then you've got conversion marketing in the middle to actually capture those leads. And finally, closing marketing at the bottom to retarget the people who are super close to buying. It's all about using different messages for different people at different points in their journey. I love this quote. What's so interesting here is how it applies to making videos. To fight against those shrinking attention spans, Smith says to start with dessert. What does that mean? It means you hook people right away by giving them the best, most valuable piece of information right at the start. Don't build up to it, lead with it. That's how you get people to stop scrolling. Okay, so let's move on to maybe the most critical moment in fishing: setting the hook the second you get a bite. If you wait even a few seconds too long, that fish is gone forever. This is your follow-up process. This is the bridge that takes someone from just a casual lead to a real scheduled appointment. This is truly the million-dollar question for any business out there, and it's where most companies completely, utterly drop the ball. What do you think? Is it an hour? Maybe a full day? I gotta tell you, the answer is probably gonna shock you. 5 minutes. That is it. The data on this is just unbelievably clear. If you respond within 5 minutes, you increase your conversion rates by 8 times. That's not a small tweak. That is a complete game changer. Honestly, it might be the single most important factor in this entire system. Speed to lead is everything. So yeah, speed is crucial. But you know what else is? Tenacity. Just look at these numbers. If you make just one call, you have less than a 50-50 shot of even reaching the person. But the book shows that if you call 6 times, you almost double that. You push your contact rate to over 90%. So please, don't give up after just one try. You have to follow up with people using the methods they actually use today. I mean, the data shows that almost 90% of people would rather text with a business, so use SMS to schedule your calls. For email, try automated drips like the famous 9-word email. It's just a simple, personal-sounding question like, hey, are you still interested in this? It's amazing for waking up cold leads. And of course, use retargeting ads to stay on their radar. Now, the key here is to find that perfect balance. Use AI and chatbots for all the logistical stuff, 24/7 availability, gathering basic info, but then you empower your human team to focus on the conversations that really matter. The research shows that 3/4 of people still want to talk to a real person. So let your team do what they do best: build those emotional connections that actually close deals. All right, so you've set the hook. The fish is on the line. Now let's talk about the technique for reeling them into the boat without snapping the line. This is the sales call itself, or what the book calls the billion-dollar sales script. Okay, I know, pre-call stock sounds a little intense, but trust me, this isn't about being creepy, it's about being prepared. Before you even think about picking up that phone, a quick search on Google and social media can give you 2 to 4 personal things to talk about. This simple little step immediately separates you from every other generic sales call they're going to get that day. A really successful call isn't random. It follows a proven structure. It all starts with gaining control. And you can do that with a simple phrase like, hey, do you mind grabbing a pen and paper?
From there, you dig deep to really understand what they need. You pitch your solution using a very specific technique, and then you move in for the close. This is the absolute heart of the call. You have to ask really insightful questions to uncover what's truly motivating them, what their real pain points are. The data shows that the top salespeople are actually listening for more than half the call, while the bottom performers, well, they only listen for about 28% of it. The quality of your questions will determine the quality of your sale, period. This right here is such a smart way to pitch. Never just rattle off a list of features. Instead, use the FBT technique. State a feature, explain the direct benefit of that feature to them, and then use a tie-down question, something like, does that sound like what you're looking for? To confirm they're with you and keep them engaged. Now, when it's time to close, you never ever ask a yes or no question. Instead, you use this little two-step process. First, you do a trial close, which is a preference question, like, based on everything we talked about, does the premium package seem like the best fit for you? And then, right after that, you immediately follow with a slot close, which is just a binary choice like, so, would you prefer credit or debit? You're guiding them to a decision between two positive outcomes. And finally, how do you know if your fishing trip was actually a success? Let's spend a minute talking about how to measure what really, truly counts. I mean, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? The best ideas in the world mean absolutely nothing without action. This perfectly captures the book's whole philosophy on analytics. The key is to focus on the numbers that reflect actual execution and real business results. It's time to stop obsessing over vanity metrics. You know, the likes and followers that make you feel good, but don't actually pay the bills. The book pushes for a G2 mindset. You focus on your G gut feeling and real business growth. Track your cost per lead. Track your time on site. And most importantly, track your sales. Those are the numbers that tell the real story. So the most important takeaway here is that this is a complete system. It's not just a random list of tips and tricks. From the bait you use, to how you set the hook, to how you reel in the catch, it all has to work together. So the real question for you now is, where's your biggest opportunity to improve? Which part of your fishing line are you going to fix first?